Here we go. Is this the greatest King's Indian game of 2025? You let me know in the comments right now, okay? Is this the greatest game in the King's Indian in 2025? We have Prag, aka Pragnananda here, versus Richard Rapport. This is in the second UZ Chess Cup 2025 back in June. And I remember talking about this game or seeing this game live, and I was like, oh my goodness, this was incredible. So now we're here as we're posting videos almost every day as much as we can in the longer form content and also the short too as well. Shout out to all you guys that are watching my shorts and growing our channel as we're getting to 100K subscribers, and just keep working on that. So if you'd be so kind, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button right below. That'll help me out a lot here as we grow and get to 100K subscribers as well. So now to this video. This one is a King's Indian. Of course, we love King's Indian ourselves. You know, I beat my first Grandmaster over the board with the King's Indian defense. You can actually check that video on my YouTube channel, but I love the King's Indian defense. I have a King's Indian playlist too as well that I'm going to tag this video in. Love the King's Indian. So anytime we see it at a high level game, even in classical chess too as well, we're going to take a look at it. Here we go. So of course we have a King's Indian. Prag goes with d4, knight f6, c4, g6. F3. Now this is the samest variation of the King's Indian, where generally they just want a big center, and lots of times they end up casting queenside and trying to launch a vicious kingside attack on our king like this, you know, h4, g4, all this other stuff like that. But white gets a big center, and you know, it's problematic for black to say the least. So that's bishop g7, e4, d6, knight c3, and castles. And of course, there's a bunch of ways to play the same as here with bishop e3, bishop d3, knight e2, which is actually what's played in the game. And then Richard Rapport goes for a6. This a6 move is generally, it's a little bit different, I would say, and it's not newer, but it's what is it? Sort of a sideline in a way. You'll face this in against the Hungarian variations, kind of, that you'll see. I think this is actually some type of, yeah, this is a samish Babatsov Korchnoi Petrosian variation. That's ridiculous. But at the same time, I do know that there's a Hungarian variation that usually goes like this too as well, that you'll see in the King's Indian, where they go for this quite quickly, h4, h5. But this one could be different because there may be some g4 in there. a6 is to play b5 quite quickly at the cost of a pawn even, which you'll see in like Banco Gambits and etc. We're kind of playing a King's Indian and a Banco combined, because we will just play b5 quite quickly, sometimes c6 to prepare it, and then b5, because we know if this king is going to castle this way, we want to be able to immediately start our queenside operations already. So here we go. I already got people just sending me messages and stuff in friend requests and game challenges. So a6, bishop to e3, and then knight d7. So after the knight d7 move, there's moves like e5, c5, b5, just a quick development. Queen to d2, as it looks like they are going to try to castle queenside. So he goes for b5 immediately, opening up the game with the idea of if captures and captures, this a file will be open. It does cost a pawn because knight takes b5 can be a thing. He goes for h4 instead though, but this is a thing where they can take twice. We go c6, and we actually get some play for the cost of this pawn that we're giving up on b5. So Prag doesn't want to go for any of that. He just goes for the kingside attack with h4. We stop it with h5. Yes, it looks strange and looks weird pushing our h-pawn, but we would rather push it ourselves than allow white to play h5 and then put the bishop here on h6, and you're probably mated in about 7 moves. So you don't allow it, you actually play h5. So he plays h5 himself and then castles queenside, get out of the way. B takes c4 is definitely a move too as well, but he goes with the strike in the center, which is e5. After the e5 move, there's d5 to lock it up just a little bit. And I like this move from Richard Rapport, playing knight to b6, which eyes the c4 pawn. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have ended up taking, but I realized from me playing some of these lines before, I used to take a lot and realized I couldn't get a lot of things going on this b file because I haven't pushed the c pawn yet either. So knight to b6, I like this because it puts pressure on the c4 pawn, and after captures, now we have the c file open and the b file to work with. So this is pretty nice. So after takes, now we're dealing with rook takes e2, b4 is a thing, rook takes a2, b4 is a thing attacking this knight, so quite annoying for black as well. So king to b1, and then b4, which hits the knight. b4 hits the knight, knight goes over to b5. He gets out of the way, and then we go knight takes d5, which is really strong. So let me actually replay that and put some sound effects on it, because this move is crazy here. We just kind of bounced back, oh, knight takes d5, and then like we keep going. No, he actually played knight takes d5. There we go. That's the reaction we should actually play here. Knight takes d5 is actually a vicious move here, and it's the best move on the engine. But what is the logic behind it? One thing you have to remember as a King's Indian player is you have to play creatively and aggressively. These are things you have to do. Creative, aggressive, creative, sacrifices at the right moment, obviously. Knight takes d5 works because of a number of reasons. If queen takes, we have this idea of bishop e6, which is nice here. And now if you do something like queen takes d6, that fails to bishop takes a2. If the king goes to the a file, at the very least, we could go like a bishop b3 check and pick up the rook, or even pick up the knight here if we like. So they might go king to c2, and if king c2, we have this move queen to c8, which is a very nice check. Of course, the king looking crazy here. Rook d8 is coming, especially if the king wants to go to the d file. So that doesn't happen in the game. In fact, he takes with the pawn, Prag does, and after he takes, there's bishop check, bringing that king into the corner. If going to the c file, then we'll play something like rook c8, and a very problematic black is cooking. So rook a4, which is a great move, meaning basically the only move, which defends b4 and also helps us maybe put something on the a file. So here we go, knight to c1, which defends the a2 pawn. Here goes queen d7 to actually double the rooks. Also eye the knight, but not actually attacking it yet. Bishop to c4, cool. Rook c8, a nice tempo here, hitting the bishop. So now after queen c2, here's the next move that he plays here. That is actually absolutely brilliant. Pause the video if you need to. What move did he play in this position? Richard Rapport was on fire this game. Here is the move. If you pause the video, you'll be able to try to guess it yourself. We're going to keep moving over here, though. The move is bishop c2. Actually, in fact, he played e4. My bad. Yeah, that's my bad. It's my bad. My bad, boys. He actually played e4 first. That actually opens up the diagonal. So if you did pause the video, you know, maybe you found e4, but he actually opened up the bishop line first, right? And then actually what I like about this is e4 was really strong because it opens up the bishop line. I totally forgot about this move. And it does sacrifice a pawn, but we have bishop g4, which hits the rook. So he backs up first, after captures rook a5, which hits the knight. Then he goes back, which is an error. The engine says he was supposed to play knight d4. Knight d4, but that gives away rook takes c1. You know, make sure you're doing your tactics, and then bishop takes d4. So he plays bishop c4, and this is where he plays bishop c2. Okay, so yeah, bishop c2 now. But I was a little ahead of myself here. Bishop c2 is an incredible move. Double exclam. Reason being is if he takes the bishop, the idea here is queen takes b5. So we win back some material here, just a little bit. And then we're going to take the queen, but there's pressure everywhere. Also, this bishop is attacked too as well. There's just too much going on. This bishop is an absolute menace here. I'll show it in real time. It's like takes, and takes. And look at this. Look at this. With rook takes b2, going to be some nasty stuff going on here. Because this diagonal is so vicious here. And the bishop is hanging at the same time. Like Richard Rapport was playing out of his mind in this game here. And bishop c2 to play this move and see all of this is absolutely insane. Check the man for assistance. You know, no, he really was playing out of his mind this game, and you'd love to see it because we're King's Indian players ourselves. So he plays in the game, Prag actually goes for rook to d2 instead of queen takes, and then bishop a4. So the bishop was able to reroute so he can be a little bit better and a little bit more effective. Knight goes around to d4 to not give up any material. He goes rook c5. He's just steady putting pressure and making threats. One thing you want to pay attention here is actually making continuous threats. That's a good thing to do. Make a threat after a threat after a threat. Knight to c6, and after bishop takes c6, Prag doesn't take because there's going to be this incredible pressure on the c file. So he actually gives a piece back, and after knight to b3, rook takes c4, takes and takes, and now black actually has some material back. Yes, we're down in exchange, right? We have two bishops, but now we got some material back, and we cooking. Like, I mean, we got the bishops looking sharp. This is a great game. So bishop b5, queen moves out of the way. If queen takes b4, there was actually rook c4 with another tempo there, which is kind of annoying. Rook c4 after queen takes b4. So he moves his queen away, bishop over to c4, and eyeing this way. Bishop takes b3 is a threat. Maybe rook a8, a8 at some point. Queen a4 is also some threats. So rook to c2, he goes b5, make that bishop very strong. Knight to c1, rook over to e8, hits the queen. Queen moves away. Queen over to a7, threatening. Bishop takes a2, followed by b3. So rook takes, he just gets rid of it, and now black's like, cool, you gave me the exchange back, I'm good. And then he goes b3 first. I mean, he played out of his mind, like just giving up all this material. This is why you love the King's Indian. If queen takes, then there's rook to b8, you know, hitting the b2 file. If knight takes b3, then we actually just go queen to f2. So he ended up going rook d1, took on a2, and then after queen here, which is hitting this pawn, there's pressure here. When the queen moved away, Richard Rapport plays rook to e3, and the game is over, bro. Richard Rapport played out of his mind, bro. This is like the best game of the year in the King's Indian defense. Like vicious stuff, like insane to take down Prag, who's now, you know, closer to 2,800 now. Boy, pushing strong here, but Richard Rapport was like, let me see you real quick, young fella. Let me show you something, and hit him with this King's Indian. So hopefully you learned something. Let me know what you think about this King's Indian game in the comments. Is it the best one of the year? And what do you think about it? Did you like it? What was your favorite move? All that other stuff, just put it in the comments. Let me know how you liked it. And I'll see you guys on the next video.